It feels like every single week there's some new AI model that just completely changes the game. But what happens when three of them drop from the very same company all at once? Well, that's exactly what just happened with Google, and honestly, it might signal a fundamental shift in how AI even works. Okay, let's get into this.
So yeah, this all comes from one place, Google. And we're talking about their powerhouse labs like DeepMind. But this wasn't just one tidy little announcement, it was more like a tidal wave of advancements, all hitting different fields.
You've got AI agents, you've got historical analysis, and you've got image generation. And what's truly wild, what makes this whole thing a story, is the timing. All of this landed within just a few days of each other, and it caught pretty much everyone off guard. I mean, this kind of rapid-fire release of tech that seems, on the surface, totally unrelated, it just begs a huge question. Are we finally moving past AI that just predicts things and into something way, way bigger? So what exactly did Google just unleash on the world? Well, we're looking at three key things. Sema 2, which is this goal-driven AI agent that can actually think for itself, a really mysterious new model that seems to reason like a historian, and the leaked but super powerful Nano Banana 2. Let's break them down one by one.
All right, first up is Sema 2. This is the new version of DeepMind's agent that operates in virtual worlds. And let me tell you, this isn't just about getting better at playing video games. Oh no, it's about actually understanding them.
Okay, so here's the absolute key difference. The first Sema, it was a good soldier. You gave it a specific command, like climb that ladder, and it would do it. Simple. But Sema 2, it's different. You give it a high-level goal, and thanks to its Gemini brain, it figures out how to get it done, all on its own. It's the difference between using a tool and having a teammate. And this chart just lays it all out, right? The original Sema could complete these really complex tasks, about 31% of the time. Not bad. But Sema 2, it just about doubled that. Now, okay, it's not quite at human level yet, but look at that jump. It's closing the gap at a frankly staggering rate. So how in the world does it do this? Well, it uses this kind of cognitive loop that's a lot like our own problem solving. First, it doesn't just read the command, it interprets the goal. Then it thinks through all the steps it needs to take. And this is crucial. It can actually explain its reasoning, its why. And then, this is the real game changer. It self-corrects. If what it's doing isn't working, it changes tactics. It's not just following a script anymore, it's actively thinking. But here's the part that really blows my mind. It's flexibility. It can jump into games it has literally never seen before. It can understand really complex instructions, even ones made of sketches or emojis. And it can take skills it learned in one virtual world and apply them to a totally different one. It can even navigate environments that are being created on the fly by another AI. That's a whole other level of adaptability. Okay, let's pivot to the second breakthrough, because this is where the plot thickens. Now, this one wasn't some big press release. It was actually discovered by a historian, a guy named Mark Humphrey, who just kind of stumbled upon this mysterious new model inside Google's AI tools. So he was feeding it these incredibly complex, handwritten documents from the 1700s. We're talking messy merchant journals, old school grammar, weird symbols, the whole nine yards. Where every other AI just failed, this one worked so well that Humphrey said, and I quote, "It felt as if the model understood the ledger. It had context." And the data? Well, it absolutely backs him up. Just look at these error rates. Gemini 2.5 Pro was already pretty darn good. But this new model, it slashed the character error rate down to just over 0.5%. To put that in perspective, that's like making only one tiny mistake for every 200 characters it reads from this incredibly difficult handwriting. That's a quantum leap. But see, it's not just about reading the words right, it's about understanding what they mean. So Humphrey gave it this puzzle, this entry from an old merchant's journal. The numbers are a total mess, super ambiguous. What does 145 even mean here? 145 cats? 1.45? Most AIs would just take a wild guess. This is where it gets absolutely mind-blowing. The AI didn't just read the text. It reasoned. It figured out the old British currency system on its own. It calculated the total cost, then it worked backward to deduce the weight, converted the leftover decimal into ounces, and then, get this, it even added the correct pounds and ounces labels all by itself. And in the end, it landed on the correct answer, 14 pounds, 5 ounces. This wasn't pattern matching.
This was multi-step, symbolic problem solving, using deep historical context. Just incredible.
And as if all that wasn't enough, while this was going on, a third piece of this puzzle just sort of appeared. Samples from a brand new version of Google's image model called Nano 2 got leaked online. And the upgrades we're seeing in these leaks are pretty significant. The images are way sharper, much higher quality. It's also got this wild new ability to take old, low-res photos and just remaster them, clean them up. And it's way better at following really complex prompts. But there is one new feature that just stands head and shoulders above the rest.
And that's text. Getting an AI to generate coherent text inside an image has been this massive, almost impossible challenge for years. Usually it just spits out gibberish, but the leaked images from Nano 2, they show clean, perfect sentences on signs, on whiteboards, on banners, with perfect fonts and layout. It looks like they might have finally cracked the code.
Okay, so we have a thinking agent, a reasoning historian, and an image model that understands the written word. On the surface, three totally separate things, right? Well, maybe not. They all seem to be pointing to the exact same massive underlying shift in how AI works. Some researchers are starting to call it emergent implicit reasoning. And the basic idea is that as these models get more and more complex, the ability to actually reason isn't something they're being specifically taught to do. It just kind of emerges as a side effect of them understanding the world on a much, much deeper level. So the really crucial takeaway here is that we're seeing a move away from AI that just predicts the next word or the next pixel. It feels like we're at the dawn of models that can actually understand the underlying rules, the context, and the logic of the world they're processing. And the implications for this are just huge. Think about it. In robotics, an agent that understands goals could actually navigate our world. In research, models that can reason could help us decode everything from ancient texts to complex scientific data. And in creative fields, an AI that truly gets context could become a real collaborative partner.
It all leads to this one final, fascinating question. For years, AI has been learning to see our world, to describe our world, but now it's starting to understand our world, and that next logical step feels almost inevitable. So we have to ask ourselves, what happens when it starts to change it?